pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's a little different. So, okay, roll call. So John?
Here.
Carolyn? Here. Tom?
Here.
Bob?
Here.
Rod?
Here. We're going to do things a little bit differently with our public comment tonight. I'm trying to keep things moving along. Everyone that chooses to make a comment is going to have 3 minutes and you get one topic.
Got a question for you. Is that legal? I imagine you talked to the attorney, right?
Yes.
And that's what he said?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
What statute?
I'm not quoting a statute out of that.
Why not?
I've been told that being able to run a meeting, I do not have to have public comments.
Really?
Yes.
Robert's Rules of Order.
And the precedent's already set by this township.
I want to know what statute. Now, keep in mind, this is the same attorney that was sitting over there and said, you guys breaking in or going into the office and him hacking a computer, that was A-OK. Okay, I got news for you. It wasn't. I just brought some paperwork for them guys. So I would like to know, what statute? Get him on the phone.
I will get that for you, George.
You what?
I will get that for you, George.
When? Is that gonna be as timely, is that gonna be as timely?
Before the next meeting, George.
Is that gonna be as timely as open records requests that we haven't seen yet, all of us? No answer?
I don't have any open records requests.
No, that's not concerning you.
It doesn't
You weren't here yet.
Okay.
I've had one for 2 months. Butch has had one for how long? She's had 3 of them for how long? We got nothing.
I guess what I'm saying, George, is that...
You gotta talk louder, I'm hard of hearing.
Okay. I guess what I'm trying to explain to you is there was nothing left in the clerk's office where public records requests should be funneled. So there was
They
nothing
were
left.
transferred over to the fire department because as far as I know, they were all to do with the fire department. They're dropping the ball. They're not taking care of what they should be taking care of. And the attorney even said, remember at the meeting?
Rod?
Lori, can you get Tanya a copy of all of that stuff?
Absolutely.
Another copy, since it got lost.
Remember what the attorney said? 10 working days. Is that something nobody understands?
And
10 working days.
just so you're aware, the town ordinance says you can do a verbal request. It does not have to be acted upon until it is presented in writing. And a lot of these open records requests have not been presented in writing, they've only been verbal.
The one that I asked for in January for a copy of the AFG grant has been responded to by you, and I still don't
Correct.
have it.
And I have heard nothing from them.
Oh,
So
So
just
we-
tell us whether I can get it or not.
This is,
For an open record request, we have to have it in writing. Is that what you're saying?
no, you
Your
don't.
town ordinance, please, read your town ordinance. Your town ordinance says you can do verbal open records requests all you want. They do not get acted upon until they are presented in the written form with the date, time, and signature of the person making the request.
I made that request to Patty. She wrote it down. She said she was
She
gonna
sent it to you, Lori, you know she did.
Did I get it in writing with your signature on it, George? I did not.
Excuse me.
It came from.
So you're ignoring them?
No, I'm not ignoring them.
So you're not gonna fulfill them?
Not if they're not presented to me in writing, I'm not.
Well, they were submitted to you by the clerk.
Not in writing
Just-
with,
Okay.
please,
Rod, can you just
Okay.
do this so I can leave, please?
please.
The question is, what are you gonna do about
Before
open
we
records
start
I will-
on the time.
I will
please,
take
thank
care of
you.
it with Tanya, yes.
Next.
So you want me to resubmit my open records request in writing? I can do that. I do know how to write.
I will give everything I have for the open records request to Tanya.
Never mind. I'll just write them out and I'll hand them to her and she can hand them to you, and you can run them through the shredder. Jesus Christ.
Is there anyone else?
Anyone else for what?
Public comments?
Yeah, I've got, yeah. First off, now when does my 3 minutes start? You want me up there, or you want me to just do it from
I
here?
would prefer that you do it up there,
Well,
but
I prefer I wouldn't, but I'll do it up there. The one thing I'm asking is, it says public comment, 3 meetings each. What does that mean? I get to come to 3 meetings and I'm done?
I'm
It was a
sorry.
typo, it should have been 3 minutes.
Speak up.
It was a typo, it should have been 3 minutes each.
Doesn't anybody proofread?
With all due respect, Mr. Durfus, I've been in this position for a week.
My dad was Mr. Durfus, I'm George.
I've been in this position for a week and a half, and I'm doing my best to get to this board meeting and get you guys the information that you have in your hand.
Okay, do you proofread them?
I look at them, yes.
Anybody asked you?
I guess if you want to say that the difference between meetings and minutes, it's my fault then.
Yeah, they both start with M, so I can see where the confusion would be. And the one topic per person, that's another one. That's almost like trampling on the First Amendment rights, am I correct? I mean, how in the hell does the Mickey Mouse board, Town of McMillan, well, how do they get to do this?
I'm trying to stop the 20-minute rant, George.
What 20-minute rounds?
Some of
From
your,
me?
yes, some of your talks that you've been, concerns that you've been bringing up take 20 minutes.
So,
And then I also get, our meetings are taking too long. So I'm trying to move things along. So if you have a concern, push it to the board, and the board will take care
I have
of
a lot of concerns. All right, I'll go up there.
it. George, you've already used your 3 minutes.
Bullshit, I'm going up there. Now, this one is got to do with last month's meeting. Okay, we had the SWAT team back here. Okay, and that was because supposedly I was made inappropriate remarks, right? That's what you had told me, Tom. That's what you had told me. Well, who's keeping track of the time, by the way? Which one of you?
I'm looking at it right now.
Well, where am I at right now? Now, we're just timing me from the time I got up here. Okay,
30
so
seconds.
anyhow, the remark that I was supposedly made, are you listening?
I'm listening.
The remark that I supposedly made was fact-checked by my wife, Dorothy Olson, Bruce, Butch Ortell, I think there was one more. I never said that stuff. I never said any of it. You told me that Nicole was even shocked by what I said.
Never said that, George.
You
you
told her
said
that.
that to me.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not. All I said to you is that I didn't hear what he said directly.
You told me you heard it and Nicole's eyes got real big. Well, Nicole wasn't even at that meeting.
She was
That's
flying
exactly
back
what
from
you told me,
Florida.
Tom.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Well, then
If
you
I
better
did-
start recording your calls, because that's exactly what you said. Because the first thing I thought of was, number one, George would have never said that. There is no way in hell. And Nicole wasn't at the meeting, and you said it happened 20 minutes before the meeting was
No,
adjourned,
no,
or
no.
20 seconds before the meeting.
Just right towards the end of the meeting. At
Okay,
the
I
very
watched
end
the
of meeting.
tape,
Yes.
and I watched the tape, and it did not happen.
Well, I heard it. I
Well, you
heard
just
it.
got done saying you didn't hear it. So
I didn't
what
hear
the
the
hell
quote.
is it?
Deb, I didn't hear the quote, and I told you I could not quote what he said.
Mm-hmm.
But I did hear, yes, I did hear that term come out.
Not
And
a-
I did
not
hear
a
something
term.
about sailors come out too.
Not a George, you didn't. No. It didn't happen.
Listen to the tape, watch the video.
Yeah.
We're not here to discuss this. Come on, let's go on with your conversation.
Well, the question he
You mean on the
has
meeting?
is,
I know.
Are you done, George?
Mr. Chairman, tell your mom.
Are you
put
done,
a fork
George?
in it. Oh, my 3 minutes, am I anywhere on the 3 minutes?
A minute 40, you have,
I got left?
no, that's what you've used so far.
Okay. So, you guys lied about this,
I didn't
okay?
lie, George. I heard it.
Bullshit, you lied.
George, you can say what you want.
I
can
will
say
say
what
what
I
I
want. I can say what I want
I'll
too.
tell you what, Tom, I was really surprised that it came from you because I thought you were a better person than that. I thought you weren't a bad guy. The chairman, he lies, I know that, so that ain't a big deal. I'm kind of accustomed to that. So, now everybody in this township knows I supposedly said all this stuff. How do we rectify this? What happens now?
What do you mean, what happened?
How do you make it go away?
George, just watch what you say.
I do watch what I say. I know exactly what I say. Don't tell me what that
George,
I
you
don't
just got
know.
done calling us a Mickey Mouse board. That isn't, why would you say that, George?
Because I
Why
am.
can't you be respectful?
First Amendment, freedom of speech, because that's the way I feel.
Bob, did you hear anything like that?
Like what?
The comment that they said he made?
I don't know what they said he made.
Oh, they said he referred to the fire department as the whores across the road.
I don't know if I was there.
You were at the meeting, supposedly. Okay, well, you were there. I sat and watched the video. There was
Bill
nothing.
Meisner, right, sitting next to me, he comes to meetings with me. He sat now, when she told me what you had told her, I drove up to his house and I said, well, Bill, what did I say? Did I say this? And he says, no, he's still sitting right there. So,
And according to the video, there is nothing in there. And I called Patty and asked her, she heard nothing like that. Dorothy
No,
didn't.
because Patty and I were kind of making communication because there was a question, and I was looking at her.
Well, if it happened during the meeting, like you had said,
Yep.
Patty would have had it in the minutes.
well, yeah, Patty was the other one, because she always recorded everything, and she said, no, it didn't.
I would believe that.
So do I, because I didn't. So how do we rectify this? My good name is being smeared in this township.
You want an apology, George?
No, that would mean nothing. That's okay.
Then that's all I can do for you.
All right.
I can't say anymore, George.
My 3
I
minutes.
heard what I heard, George.
Okay, here's
And I can't tell you exactly what I heard, but I did hear that term. Yes, I
Good for
did.
you. Here's something that, a friendly tip from George. Maybe both you and Bauer make an appointment up at the clinic, at the audiology department. Talk to Don Hanson. He's the one that fitted me with hearing aids. He's a really good guy. He might help you. How's my time?
You're way over.
Way
I'm
over.
done?
You're way over.
Man, that's a fast 3 minutes, let me tell you.
It's 4:32, and I gave you a minute before I started it, so.
Is there anyone else?
Hope not.
All right, reports. Dorothy Olson. Planning
About
Commission.
minutes.
Minutes, gotta do your minutes.
Oh, sorry.
Do you usually read these minutes, or you just stand to read these
I don't
minutes?
really read through them.
Thank you.
And we got 1 set of minutes on here.
Sure, it's not at all. Lots of words.
I move approval of the town board meeting minutes of April 11th, 2022.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of April 11th. Any further discussion? Since there is none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. Minutes approved. Words. Okay, Dorothy.
Okay, Plan Commission, we met last month, fourth Monday, and we approved the C.
Hold on just a second. We have 3 sets of minutes.
You only have 1 on the
One
agenda.
more minute. There's more minutes.
You're correct, except for we only have it listed on the agenda for the 11th.
Okay,
Oh,
we'll put the other ones in the next. Sorry, Dorothy.
That ain't not-
Okay, well, we met the fourth Monday of last month, and we approved the CUP for Jay Oberhauser. It's the one who's interested in starting a kennel. It does fit in with Chapter 17. He did show up at the meeting. Plan Commission is not allowed to ask anybody to come according to the Towns Association when we have these rezones, things like that. We're not allowed. That's just strictly for public hearings, which I think is kind of a poor policy. I just assume somebody, if they're going to do a rezone or change something, show up so people can talk to you, find out what's happening, and the gentleman did. But anyways, he wants to do a dog kennel.
So could you guys or the town board make that change so that people have?
No, no,
Okay.
no, that's,
So
I agree.
he's
I
getting the
think it would be
property,
helpful.
he's petitioning to get his property rezoned for the dog kennel?
we're not, no, he doesn't have to be a rezone at all.
Okay, that's.
No, he's got 10 acres, he fits in the category. Was very, very interesting, little dogs,
Isn't it conditional use permit?
yes.
Okay.
And when he requested it, because it's still ag land, so it is, like I said, it does fit into chapter 17. So we did pass it. It'll be coming up to you. I kind of was hoping it would have been on your agenda, because these people that we had were kind of, I think, all expected to be on the agenda. Now it gets put off until June.
Part of that is because of the county also, because I asked them some questions on this stuff and they got back to me with nothing.
So what?
Well, one of the things is that I believe that there's supposed to be a ordinance, if I believe, or a resolution that's supposed to be made for the change for his dog kennel, and I did not receive any documentation on that.
That all came through the county because Patty made the copies for us and put them in our mailboxes.
Okay, as the board, did any of the other board members, did you guys receive anything?
Because that should have all been in your office, because that's where it came through, because they do not come to the plan commission. They go through your clerk first. Second one,
Dorothy, I talked to the director over there, Lori, this
Yeah.
morning. She called me and, I said, you know, I'm hearing about this dog kennel and I got the notification for the Board of Adjustment. And I said, I don't know anything, it's not on our agenda. I said, when did you send that to us? Or when did we get all this information? And she said it was mailed out to the town on April 11th. And that should have been shared with the Plan Commission.
that's when we got it, and I didn't know about it before last meeting, because Rod came up and asked me if I knew about the dog kennel, and I had no clue. So then I contacted Lori the next morning, and she said, well, she had just heard about it on the Thursday before. So, as the saying goes, rheumatism in this township flies pretty fast.
Well, so anyway, she called me this morning, and because I said, well, I don't know any, was there a resolution included in that packet? Because apparently there is no resolution that has been signed.
That would be signed by you folks, not by the plan
Exactly.
commission.
That's why I'm saying, was it in the packet? Was that included in your packet?
In ours it was, and then that was just copies that were made at the office.
So the board did not get the resolution, is that correct?
I did not receive anything.
Okay, so I said to her, okay, you got this on the Board of Adjustment for the 26th. So she sent me an email saying that we need to have that resolution because that's what the adjustment is for the conditional use permit.
That should have been on your agenda for this meeting.
Okay, and it's not because apparently it did not get, I don't know what happened to it. Anyway, so I asked her, that's done. We didn't get it. Somebody didn't get it. The board didn't get it. So I said, so what do we do? You've got this on the agenda for the Board of Adjustment. And she said, well then you can either take notes by if there's, anybody has any information on this at all that they want to share? Does anybody here even know about this, what the situation is?
Rod was at our plan
I know,
commission
but
meeting that night.
That needed to come through, everybody should have gotten those papers. And that whole thing. And if we didn't get the resolution and don't have it signed, then we're gonna have to either have a special meeting or Anybody that knows anything about this, if they have any comments they want to make, I can relay that one on the 26th.
Still has to be approved by the
So,
board.
so we either have to have a special board meeting, or I know whatever, I don't know what happened to all of the papers, so that was, so anyway, it is what it is. So are we gonna set up it, or do you all know about the dog kennel?
I've heard about it, yes.
You just heard about it, you haven't seen any of the, whatever
I've not
was.
seen anything about it.
So now that I'm hearing of this, I can search the office. There was mounds of paperwork left for me that was not filed, not organized, and I honestly haven't had time to go through it. 2 years worth of paperwork just left in the office. So I can tell you that I have gone through what was on the desk, and I didn't see anything from CPZ. But I can look for it now that I've been asked to look for it.
Well, the thing is that we have to have that resolution, and if people are not educated on what it is even about, I don't think that we can, she said we could verbally write down our recommendations, but
Well, I didn't bring my paperwork, I mean, I've got my copies. Bruce has got copies, everybody that was at the plan commission meeting that night had copies.
But apparently it didn't get shared.
So
So
in that
so what we
paperwork-
need to do is set up a special meeting to get this done, if you don't know anything about it.
Go ahead,
Now, I
Bob.
know John doesn't.
Go ahead,
Do
Bob.
you know
In that
enough?
paperwork, was there a resolution that was pre-done?
It should have been in the packet.
It's all, it's the
I
same
know.
information that you always get for like a rezone or, conditional use permit.
Variances,
It-
all of them. They all have to have a resolution. And
So there
so,
should be enough copies submitted for the plan commission and the board, right?
they're
Well,
probably in
see,
the office.
it's more than likely in the office.
Okay.
That's where they originated from.
Okay, so then,
Because the plan commission does not get these. These go to the clerks, and then they come down to us.
so she asked me well, our protocol was, and that's exactly what I said. Whenever somebody comes, when it comes from you, all that this is to be done, and when they go to him, or wherever they go initially, the information comes to the clerk gives it to the plan commission, and then it should go to the board.
Right.
That has been the protocol for a long time, and so, if we don't have any of that, then I think we're gonna have to have a special meeting to get it done, because we don't want
Well,
that, to do that to the people that are applying.
And you've got two other things that were on our meeting that night. Second one was K&S LLC. It's the storage units on 97 and Riverside. They've kind of
97?
yes,
in Riverside?
97 and Riverside. It's the Snortheim.
Oh,
Right, but K&S is who owns it now. And what they're basically doing is changing from light industrial to commercial. It's a terminology change, because with our new comprehensive plan, it's not industrial, it's commercial. There's storage units. And this third one was the fence line dispute between Christensen's and Dahlke's.
And that one also, I as chair tabled that one for the pure sake of, I called the county up, and when I asked them about the fence and stuff, they asked the question, was there any permits filled out on it? And I says, I do not know, because I was not involved with that. And they said, well, there needs, for a line fence like that, there's supposed to be a permit that's pulled out.
Since when?
if it's,
All
how
I'm doing
long is it?
Pardon?
How long is the fence? So that has to,
80.
if it's over 100 feet, then it has to have a permit. That's
For a cattle fence?
for a fence. Any fence that is over 100 feet, she said has to have
I don't
a
know.
permit.
I guess.
'Cause I asked-
So,
I'm not gonna
anyway.
follow
Because
that.
I asked her for clarification on it, and for the state ordinances and stuff, where it sits in or statutes, where it sits in our pot, and where it sits in the county, because we do county zoning. And she did not get back to me after she said that she couldn't find a permit for it, since she was still digging, so.
I'll give Lori a call.
Yeah, because she said she has no information on that at all. is what
Well,
she told me.
there wouldn't be, because it's not a
So,
decorative fence.
Why would it be on the agenda if nobody has any info other than the complaint? The complaint does not, you got the steps there again, you gotta follow them.
No. Do you realize how many permits our clerk or the county would be writing for every time they put up?
I didn't make the laws, that's what she told me.
I will check on, I think she's just misreading that one.
Okay.
So anyways, those were the three things we talked about. We were waiting for Deb to come back, then we're gonna start trying to get this packet together in case we have any more developers come in, so they're handed it, and we don't wait to timeline, because there's such a short time between when the real estate agent comes in and it's subdivided. There's like 10 days in between that, and our meetings don't run 10 days apart, folks. Yes, John?
So, for confirmation, the plan commission is recommending approval of the dog kennel CPU.
According to chapter 17, it does fit into that category.
Okay, yeah, 'cause,
And it's just a recommendation on our part?
yeah, but I just wanted to be clear of your guys' recommendation, because
Yes.
I believe that the committee work is important, and you guys do the legwork for.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so both the dog kennel and the storage unit, both recommended.
It was a name change for, they all fit into chapter 17.
Makes sense to me, yeah. Okay, great.
Well, then we
Thank
can
you.
have all of them addressed maybe at the special meeting. If we're gonna have a meeting, we might as well see if we can get the info for all of them.
Dorothy, do you have a copy of the report that I can have, or can I make one?
Pardon?
Do you have the report that I can make a copy of, your plan commission?
No,
report?
because our minutes aren't approved yet. When our minutes are approved at our next one, then we will give it to you.
Okay, I was just thinking of like your report tonight, do you have a copy of that?
No.
Can I give you my open record request now or no?
Come on.
Can I or can I?
Okay.
Give it to her, George.
I told you, you gotta speak up. I'm hard of hearing. Is that legible enough?
I'll review it and I'll let you know if I have
If
questions.
it ain't, holler.
Was that all for the plan?
Yes, that was it.
Thank you.
Wow. Garbage recycling, please.
Yeah, so I missed the April 11th meeting, I apologize for that, but I did get a couple of requests for some additional, one was for an additional recycle container, one was for a damaged garbage can. So I contacted Dale Marth to get get the one that was damaged replaced and the extra recycle container delivered. So that would have been just before the April 11th meeting, so they should have those by now. So on the next bill from Advanced Disposal, we should see that on that bill. And typically, the treasurer was sending a separate statement for that extra container through the township. Because we do that through the township, otherwise it's really expensive.
What is the fee on that yet? Is that still $20 for the year?
As far as I know, yes, I don't believe they've changed that fee.
Well, it would be us changing the fee, the town, because
Yeah,
we're
we
the ones
just
that
pass-
charge that.
Well, we pass it through from Advanced Disposal.
Okay, and those rates haven't changed at all?
As far as I know, they have not.
Okay.
The tire recycling day, there's a lot of confusion on that because the recycle schedule that is published in December had the April 23rd date on the bottom. And Deb, the clerk for the recycle board, made the mistake because it was supposed to be the last Saturday of the month, and April had 5 Saturdays. So it was actually the 30th, so I had quite a few phone calls, sent quite a few people.
I just gave them your number.
Thank you. So anyway, we got that taken care of, but it's always gonna be the last Saturday in April. As far as I know, that went off fairly well. I didn't get any feedback from Deb or the other board members that were actually running it on how many tires were collected, so we do have a meeting, end of this month, so at the next meeting, I'll have some information on how that went. That's all I have.
Library, right now, we don't have anybody in that position for a little while, and I did not bring anybody into that.
Can you speak
this
up?
month. I said we do not have anybody listed right now until later on the agenda for library, and I didn't give them any assignments to take care of anything. However, I did with buildings and grounds, Mrs. Lopez. Do you have a little bit of a report for us?
Yeah, we have 14 rentals for the pavilion. I do have a question though, how to handle this. What did I do with it? I went by the book, you gave me the book. And so there was somebody wanted, a rental for the 31st of July. There was no paper in the book. I had no indication that it was rented. And now it was just pointed out to me that that's supposed to be the town picnic. So it's also, the lady's given us the check and the whole bit. So now what? It's up to you guys how to handle it. I don't know. Do I call her back and tell her I
You
have
screwed
to
up? Yeah,
turn her
that would be a
down?
good idea, because we already sent it out in the newsletter when the picnic is gonna
I
be.
know, but why wasn't there a piece of paper in it that's stating that it was?
I have no idea.
Me either. That's
Oh.
why I'm saying, what are we gonna do about it?
Well, you got the newsletter too, Carolyn, and I do believe that the letter was in there saying when the picnic is.
I didn't pay any attention to that, so, I mean, I didn't know
I
I was
think we
gonna
have
be in
to hold
charge
the
of
picnic.
this. Huh?
I think we have to hold the picnic.
Yeah.
I mean, if
You got a
that's-
contract with a DJ signed already.
Contracts, we got a lot of other
Carolyn,
people
just
involved
for-
in this.
Just for clarification, the form for the July 31st rental, it was in the book that we gave you? Is that what you're saying? It was already completed?
The what?
The form for the July 31st rental was in the book when I gave it to you last week?
No.
Oh, this is a new one,
No.
okay.
There was nothing there, that's why I did it.
Okay, got it.
And, so, I just have to, how do I, just get her to change her date?
Yeah,
Yeah, I should know.
There's an error, there's an error.
It's booked.
It's actually,
Okay.
it was previously booked and
Okay,
Just one of the things, I was walking around up by the pavilion, and one of the railings is broke. We'll have to address that.
railings on what?
By the gazebo up there, there's two railings that go across those culverts. I know they're more decorative than they are anything else, but the one facing to the north is broke right now. I don't know if it heaved and twisted or whatever, but the tops are broke off. I tried to push it back together again, but it's gonna be more substantial than that.
I'll look at it.
Also, there needs to be help over there to move those picnic tables are huge, and I cannot move them out. The people that had the rental in the first part of, or the end of April, did move them outside, but they're partially sitting on the sidewalk and what have you. I need some muscle to get them moved out.
Carolyn, usually they get Larry Seahaver to come over with his tractor with the forks on it.
He'll lift them up and move them.
They move some.
They're huge,
They
they're
just get, oh, yeah,
enormous.
that way they don't steal them as fast.
Okay, thank you.
The other thing to put on your plate, is Clark had contacted me about the lawn mowing, and you may want to get with him again. He only verbally did it, but he says he's thinking of raising his rate by $10 per mowing per place. So you may want to check with him on that.
Do you
Because
have
I
a
know that,
contract?
I know that he has a contract, and I know that it's in the office, but he just verbally said that, so you may want to get something in
And
writing.
the reason for it is, I'll let you know, is the gas prices. That's why.
Yeah, a lot of contracts have that fuel surcharge rider on them because of that.
Yep,
I know we're dealing with that at work a lot.
It's been done before.
yeah.
Also, there's work to be done, on this,
Ball diamond?
huh?
Ball diamond? Or on the
Well, the
cable?
ball diamond needs to be done, and also that wire needs to be buried out here. That's sitting on top, and the mower isn't gonna be able to, you'll lose your
Cabling.
cabling if you don't get that. That needs to be done. Who does that?
Casey did it the last time. And then they went and dug it up with a backhoe, so now it needs to be redone. So you'll have to let him know if you guys want him to do it or not.
Okay. I think that's it for the time being.
Okay. Tom, highways.
Not my problem.
Unfortunately, we are not gonna have numbers tonight for our materials. I have all the measurements and everything for all the road jobs we're doing right now, but I need to get prices so that I can plug those prices in for my footage that I have. So, we did send them out again, or we did send them out, so we should be able to open them sometime between the 25th and the 30th of this month, so I can get prices. It's just one of those things that happened during Patty quitting, so it just didn't, it got dropped through the cracks. Kept the road limits on a little bit more than a week longer than what Marathon County had pulled them. Had a little bit of feedback from a couple people. They were actually very good about it. They were just wanting to get to work, and I get it. I'm in that business, and I fight with those limits every spring myself. But I think all in all, everything went pretty good with that. We still did have frost in our roads when Marathon County pulled theirs. That's why I kept them on. That Saturday, we had that rain, and that Sunday when I got up, I could actually smell the worms again, and I knew the frost was out. So we did pull them that Monday morning. And yes, we did say that we do follow Marathon County, but I feel that it's still my job to watch out for our roads, and I don't think keeping them on a week longer was gonna do any damage. In fact, it was gonna help, so that's what I did. And like I said, there's only a couple people that called and were concerned, and they were good about it. I seriously, they didn't gripe about it, they were just more inquisitive on when they were gonna come off, so.
Did Jeff Hill get a hold of you on that?
He is one of them, yes, yes, and honestly, he was really good about it, he really was. I can't speak enough about how good he was about it, so. Other than that, basic, 1, 2, 3, and 3 culvert replacements on driveways, a couple more coming up that I've given permits for. And other than waiting for numbers, that's what I have this month.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Moving under unfinished business, Lori, fire department.
We had no fire calls since our last meeting. We've had 1 EMS call, 2 canceled and route calls, and 2 natural gas leaks. As far as new members, Pastor Wayne Oblender has joined our department as our chaplain. We're very gracious to him to come and join us. Fire danger is very high, so no permits will be issued until the fire danger comes down. The DNR is also trying to recommend no campfires unless it is for food purpose or heat, just because of the fire danger that's out there. Our training this month will be doing pumping with our portable pump and water evolutions. Alicia Bauer was passed her firefighter 2 class. For EMS, the group will be doing our annual medication recertifications with our medical director. And public education, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so please check out our Facebook page for more information on that. I don't have an agenda, so I don't know where these grants lay as far as the agenda.
It's down on last, it's it's down on 13.
Okay,
You're at 6 right now, so
okay,
there's a little ways to go.
okay. Just checking, because I don't know the agenda, so I don't know where it is.
Lori, do you have a copy of the report, or can I make a copy?
There should be one on the table for you right there.
So in your packets, I did put together a treasure report. I had to reconcile the bank accounts through April. Today I took a little bit of time. That's what we're on right now, right? Number 7. It took a little bit of time to get all the data, but I was able to do that. So, trying to find it. Oh, here it is. Okay. So just a brief report on general checking account. The beginning balance last month was $64,892.43. We had deposits of $146,875.74, withdrawals of $46,572.70, for an ending balance of $165,195.47. We have $5,163.26 of outstanding checks for a reconciled balance of $160,32.21. The tax savings account has started the month at $651,876.83. There was interest income of $983, and then there was a transfer of $90,000 to the general checking account, leaving the ending balance at $561,886.66. The fire department fund had a beginning balance of $37,725.82, interest of 31 cents, ending balance of $37,726.13. The park fund had a beginning balance of $11,475.79, 9 cents in interest, ending balance of $11,475.88. And then finally, the restricted cash fund, or the grant fund, had a beginning balance of $110,065.45 and an ending balance of $110,065.45. Any questions on that?
Yes, I do have a question on what the grant funds. What grant fund is that?
I think this is the ARPA. I think this is where the ARPA money was placed.
Oh.
I had a brief conversation with Rodney before the meeting. I wasn't sure exactly what it was. It's noted as restricted cash, but Rodney confirmed that the ARPA money was moved to that account. So that would have been the first half. Okay, so,
Do you want us to approve that
yeah,
report?
that's a good idea.
Did you say that you wanted a motion to approve the treasurer report? I make the motion.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to approve the treasurer's report as Tanya had read it. Is there any further discussion? Since there is none, let's vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. Report approved. Tanya, clerk's report.
So I have the checks and vouchers. You said that's part of the treasurer report, right?
Use the clerk's,
Is it under the clerk's report?
usually, yeah.
Okay, let me see it. Okay, just a, I'm trying to think if there is. I guess just a verbal report. So as I've been in position for a week and a half, I'm just working through some things in the office. And I would like objective in my conversation here. There's quite a bit of filing that's not completed. The minutes haven't been filed for at least a year and a half. There's a backlog of the filing for checks, invoices, and minutes. So I'm working on that, or I will find someone to help me to work through all the filing, but there is a backlog there. I'm having a tremendous amount of problems with the email. We were getting at least 50, 60 emails a day that are spam coming into the main mailbox. This happens when I was here before, and I tried to work with the website guy, and he said this is normal, but it's not normal. So just a lot of problems with email correspondence where I'm sending it out and it's being kicked back. So I have emails in my sent mail to all of you that you're not receiving. So I'm not sure what the problem is, and so that's one of the agenda items as we get further down about the website. But I do need to set up a new clerk email to get things cleaned up and move forward. I understand there is a .org filing that's been done. I've not been able to find that in the office. .gov. Okay.
Yeah, because I think all the townships are supposed to move to the .gov format.
So I'm not necessarily familiar with that, but I've not been able, there was nothing in the paperwork that I've been able to find yet about that. I'm sure it could be there, I just haven't found it yet. So, okay, all right, so just moving on, the ARPA grant filing. So I tried to file the project and expenditure report for ARPA before the deadline on the 30th, and there is on the filing, there is a multi-factor authentication that was set up. So if you're familiar with that, that means that you have to have two devices that authenticate your login. And so the second device was not the clerk phone, was not the laptop. So I don't know what it was. So I was not able to authenticate the login. So the password was left for me, but I couldn't authenticate the login. So I had to make a phone call on Monday, May the 2nd, I believe it was, to the Department of Treasury. I've logged a case with them. They're getting many of these phone calls. And so I have a case number, and they assured me that we would not get any penalties for not filing on time. I even tried to set up an account like with a different email, and it wouldn't allow me to do it. So I do have a case logged with them for that. Okay, next thing is checks to approve.
Could be.
So you have a listing of the check detail in your packets. And I think, Rodney, you reviewed all the invoices
Yes.
today. Does anybody else have to review those, or no? I don't.
They can if they want
They're up
to,
here?
it's all up there.
Perfect, okay. I
No.
wasn't-
What you gave me, it's still back in,
The checks and,
I put it back in
invoices.
my mailbox.
Would you like for me to go get it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go get it. Who wants to? Checks.
There was a question about Pat's retirement fund. Have you heard anything about that? I think there was not any contributed in this 21.
Okay, I'll look into
And I think that can still be done. Maybe, I don't know the logistics of that.
Do you know the name of the vendor that we use, Carolyn, or you're not sure?
Pardon me?
Do you know the name of the vendor that we use for the retirement? Okay, I'll look into it.
Are we still on checks here or what?
Yeah, I think the board's reviewing the invoices right now.
Well, I got a question. I don't see Patty or Steve's paycheck on here. Why is that? They have a paycheck coming, am I correct?
Would you like for me to answer?
Yes, please.
So neither one of them left a timesheet for me to process, and all of the employees have to fill out timesheets. So I sent both of them a letter, I think it was Friday. I sent a certified letter asking them for their final timesheet and anything, mileage or any other expenses that we owed to them.
Did they do his timesheet previous to this, or no?
No.
I don't know, but all the other employees and the board members
Yeah,
all complete,
well-
and when I was, George, I'm answering your question. All board members, Pat, everybody completes a timesheet. I completed a timesheet when I was here several years ago. So if something has changed between then that exempts the clerk and treasurer from completing a timesheet, I'm unaware of that.
The point being that both of them are salaried employees.
The board are salaried
I don't care about the board, I'm not talking about the board, I'm talking about Patty and Steve. They're salaried employees, why should they have a timesheet? The paycheck is gonna be the same every time, am I correct?
No.
No.
Why
Yes, it
not?
is unless
Because-
they turn in mileage. Yes, it is. Unless they have mileage, that would be the only difference.
Mileage or don't complete the month.
Well, then you give them half the salary. That's not rocket science. They should have had half a pay period.
I just don't understand why you didn't just issue the checks, get it done with, they're no longer employed here, be done, you're done with them. That makes no sense to me.
So would you like to do this job? Because I'm doing it the way.
Did I apply for that job?
Well, then don't question me about how I'm doing this job.
I
I'm
am
doing it-
questioning
Diller will.
everyone
Stop.
about why this happened this way. Why are you sitting on that?
It happened this way, George, because we didn't know exactly what to make the exact amount of the check to. So we're trying to get that down, so we have the exact check, so we can square up with them and move on.
Really?
Yes.
There were certain assets that were not left. If you want to know the truth, there were certain things that were not turned in. There were certain material that was taken that I
There were
have
what?
found. So I'm just telling you.
Certain material that was what?
That was not left for me, certain assets that were not left, and there were certain things that need to be returned.
Well, if there's anything wrong with the computer, you can talk to the guy in the end.
Tanya, I don't believe you can withhold a paycheck legally.
I'm not withholding a paycheck.
Yeah, you
I'm
are.
asking for a timesheet. That was the
We didn't fill
letter.
out time sheets.
I
That was
have,
your rule for
Right,
yourself.
that's what's going on.
We didn't require it, even when I was chair. Not
Donna
for them.
and I
And the
both,
reason that the board has time sheets is they get their standard salary plus any meetings they go to, they write them down separately. That's why they have a time sheet.
Well, it's difficult for her to come in though and try to figure all this out when she doesn't
No, it
know.
isn't.
So she's
I don't
asked
think-
for their time and that's, you've already sent the letter, so that should be all it takes.
Frankly,
They'll tell you.
if there's stuff that's missing, an employee shouldn't be receiving their last paycheck if they're not returning all the equipment, in my opinion, so.
What was missing? Just curious. I mean, we pay for it, you should be able to tell us.
so the town credit card I've not been able to find, and it's still being used, like to pay for town expenses, that was not left. There were computer chargers that were not left, there were phone chargers that were not
I think
left.
the Tom and Bob got those, right?
I got the phone charger.
Okay.
So, but the computer charger for this computer was not left. I'm
And-
using the charger for the
And I
treasurer.
actually wonder if they were one and the same.
One of those chargers had Lenovo on it.
Yeah, I think it was one and the same.
Yeah.
Yes, but we're not withholding a paycheck. I actually looked in their employee files for email addresses to try to email them to ask them for their time, and I didn't have anything. So,
So how long are you gonna hold their checks?
I'm not holding any checks.
Well, okay, how long before you send them their checks?
When the board approves it.
Right.
Huh?
When the board approves it, most likely.
Well, no, it doesn't work that way. Payroll can be done at any time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Legally, a paycheck is
They're
supposed
not
to be sent out at the
pay
next time period.
Next
That's how
pay.
that's supposed to work, by law. And if you have things that have been withheld supposedly, then you file suit beyond that. There's proper procedure for everything.
Okay, what about the 941s? I know those needed to be in, did those get completed?
So the 941s were not completed prior to me starting, but I have completed those.
Okay.
Okay.
Checks.
Did you ask, Ryan?
No, that's just finished. We're on the checks.
Oh. And then the last item, I had budget to actual. So the 2022 budget was not put in QuickBooks as it had been in prior years. So I'm in the process of adding the budget to QuickBooks, but I did include in your packets the current expenses, the budget by line item, as well as the profit and loss statement January through May. So those are included in your packets if you wanted to, if you were looking at a certain budget line item and you wanted to compare it, but probably will have the budget to actual completed in QuickBooks by the end of this week, and I can email that out. But you have the data here if there's something specific that you wanted to look at. The one thing that I would ask is, Bob, I'm not sure how we get our advanced disposal bills. I didn't have one in the mail or an email. I can look further, but if you know, you would let me know.
They had been mailed, hard
Mailed.
copy to the clerk,
Yeah, so
because I had to get copies from Patty
okay.
to see them.
Was there two each one?
No, we get, no, so the recycle is billed on 2 installments, so we pay the recycle twice a year, but the garbage is monthly.
Okay, yeah, I seen that it was paid last month, so I haven't received anything in the mail, so I can contact them and ask them. And then the last, I guess, item that I had was the municipal financial report. So that's due on March 31st of every year for all towns meeting a certain population. There is an auto extension that goes through May 15th. And so this report hasn't even been started yet. And it's a report of all of the revenue expenses, debt, everything, cash accounts, everything from last year. And so it's a it can be a time-consuming process, but that's not been completed. So I'm going to try my best to complete that by the 15th.
Is there an ability to request a further extension?
No. And for every day it's late, it's $1,000 fine.
It's a penalty off of the general transportation fees.
So we need to go back up to checks approval. We need a motion to approve the check.
Make a motion to approve checks.
Wait a second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the checks. Any further discussion? Since there is none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. Ayes have it, checks approved. Is there any time underneath your deal? I interrupted you.
Nope, I think I'm done. Well, I guess I would just say that I put together 2 job descriptions for you guys to review. I'm sure you're gonna want changes, but I think this is the first step in posting the positions. So I'm happy to hear any feedback, and I think that we should decide where we're going to post these. I have recommendations. There's a clerk and a treasurer's association for Wisconsin. We can post them on their websites. I don't know if there's a cost. I would assume not, but I don't know. We could post these on Indeed. We could put them in the paper.
Yes.
Do we want to read what she has first before we say yes?
And I took
No,
these.
those are really
I
good
took
things.
these out of the information, Carolyn, that you left under my door,
Mhm.
out of the duties. I kind of pulled things from the day, so it's fairly, I think it's comprehensive.
The clerk, both of them are pretty much just following the state statutes. And then the other things that you go through is, after you get your applications.
So I had just had a couple of questions. So down at the bottom, under other, on the clerk position, just make sure that that's what you want. So I put hybrid work model with at least 16 hours in the office per week, with the remainder of the 32 hours either in office or remote. I'm not sure if that's what you guys had wanted. That's what I recall, but, okay. And then, respond to constituents' requests timely via phone, email, or mail. I don't know if there's anything else that you want to add there. And then under qualifications, we talked about education or sufficient experience of one that has completed a bachelor's degree in business administration or accounting. So either the degree or a sufficient experience of someone. If you want that changed, we can. Prior clerk experience is preferred but not required. Strong interpersonal communication, collaborative, and organizational skills are necessary.
The number one on qualifications kind of, when I was reading it, I was kind of confused by it, so I'd rather see it saying bachelor's degree in business administration or accounting or sufficient experience.
Got it.
Question over here.
Yes.
Do these positions have to live in the town of McMillan?
No, because they're appointed.
They're appointed, so they do not have to live in the town
No.
of McMillan, okay. And you're requesting a bachelor's degree for the clerk position?
Or sufficient experience.
Okay, what about for the treasurer?
On the treasurer position, I put associate's degree. But it's whatever the board wants, so.
Do we not have to post these in the newspaper? Is there not something about in the statutes?
We have done it simply because it used to be that more people would see it, but not more and more people are
Yeah,
not
it used to be,
taking the
that's the only place
newspaper,
you
so.
look for job
But
postings,
then
which
I think
isn't
it
that
still
way
should
anymore,
go up.
but, you know.
Or maybe Hub City News. I think more people want it. I don't know, if we've had it in the past in the newspaper.
I'd rather see it in the, whatever the one that comes in the mail. Doesn't it come in the mail?
Hub Shopper,
Yeah, the Hub City Shopper.
Hub
I do believe
City or
it was-
Shopper.
I think it's one and the same.
I think according to your ordinances though, the Marshfield News Herald is a posting place.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I'd rather, if News Herald is our designated
We have
newspaper,
to.
then we have to, but I'd like to see it in the other one too.
How many hours are considered part-time?
I was just gonna bring that up. I've read a lot of different articles on part-time, and from what I understand, 30 hours is part-time.
Right.
They consider 32 to 48
Full-time.
full-time. So I'm thinking we have to change our 32 hours to 30 hours.
For the clerk,
Yes,
Yeah.
to make sure that's
I
part-time.
thought that was the way it always was. I don't know where the 32 came from.
okay, yeah, I wasn't,
I had brought that up myself at that meeting.
But in the past, it's
But-
never been, that's always 32 to 40 is full-time.
okay, so 30 hours for clerk then?
Yes.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
And, on the treasurer position, do you agree or disagree about an associate's degree or sufficient experience?
I would cancel the degrees because most of these are elected positions normally.
I do hesitate with that myself, with the degrees, the degrees.
How about preferred?
Relevant work or relevant accounting experience. I think relevant is a key term.
Otherwise, your pay scale ain't high enough.
No.
So somebody that has the schooling, we'd be ruling them out if they didn't have experience?
No,
Okay,
that's relevant experience.
okay.
They went through and got the degree, that's an experience.
Okay.
And then is there an hours requirement for the treasurer? I had 16, but
I don't think so, because it's so, you know, when you're collecting taxes, you're full-time, period, and, you know, it's up and down, so.
so is there a requirement for the time that you want the treasurer in the office?
Mhm.
I think there should be a little bit so that it corresponds with.
Well, they know that, if they're
Yeah.
gonna do it, they're gonna, I mean, they obviously have to get together to.
So the treasurer handles the dog licenses, and that's probably the most.
And the bank statements.
Can.
Yeah, but interacting with the public, being available in the office.
And normally they can call and make an appointment.
Yeah. And they can work that through the clerk.
But you do want a hybrid work model where they are in the office at times, is what, yes
Yes.
or, yes, okay. Okay, and then, I don't believe that a job posting is a legal posting, so I think that you can post it wherever you'd like to post it. I don't think there is a requirement, because I don't believe that it's a legal posting. So if you would like to tell me where you'd like to have them posted, I can do that.
Like that, I think we do have to put it in the paper, because most people do look at our paper.
Yeah.
I mean, most of our stuff does go through there, so I think we do have to put it in the paper. I like the idea of that one site you were talking about.
Okay, so Tom, you're saying the Marshfield News Herald, and then I heard Hub City?
Yeah, I think it's called the Hub City Times.
Yep. Okay, and then the Clerk and Treasurer Associations? Okay.
What about Indeed?
I had recommended that, I don't know the cost, I can look into it.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I think there's
It's
a lot
not
of
like-
people when they search for jobs, it's either gonna be Indeed or LinkedIn.
Yeah, I know a lot of the Marshfield jobs are posted on Indeed, so I'll look into that, and if it's a reasonable cost, I'll go ahead and do it, if not, I'll seek board approval for that.
Good with that.
And I just put on there that these will be posted, like they're open until they're filled, meaning that if the board finds someone that you wanna move forward with, that you can do it at any time, unless you wanna do a certain cutoff date.
Do you want to make a motion for that?
I don't think so, you can if you'd like, I don't know that it requires a motion. It's like a job posting,
Mhm. It's part of your
It's just
job.
running.
yeah, it's just a
Yeah.
job posting,
It's just
so,
running.
yeah. And then I, talked to several of you, so I'll receive, if there are any applicants, I'll receive them and do any screening, and then I'll just present them to you, as if there are some really good candidates, I'll notify you right away and not wait till another board meeting, and then you can decide if you want to schedule a meeting, so.
Don't we have an ad hoc committee?
We don't have one right now.
We don't have an ad hoc committee anymore?
Not right
That
now.
was one of our
No,
ordinances.
we did, it's not an ad hoc, it's just that we usually just, that was the protocol, was to appoint a committee. They take the clerk gives them the applications, and they go through and do, and then they present it to the board.
Do we wish to make a committee?
Well, yeah, you can just, you've gotta find people that are willing to do it, you know? Joe Berger was one of them. He was one of our good guys, right, sitting right there.
Yeah, Devin and I.
Joe Berger was one of them, but he did do a very good job of it.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. So, yeah. Deb Davis, you were one of them, weren't you, on a committee? So, you can find somebody else that wants, just 3 people would be good.
Okay.
I am willing.
Okay.
And Joe, are you willing?
No,
No.
no, I'm not.
Okay, so then you got 2.
Clarence Ortell was on.
What Dortel was.
You were on one?
Yes.
Okay.
So we need to
Are
get
you
one more.
willing?
Are you willing?
Yes.
Okay, one more.
Okay.
So we do have on the agenda interview process, so if you wanted to go ahead and assign the committee, otherwise then we're gonna have to wait till another board meeting to get a personnel committee put together, so.
All you're really doing is replacing one, you've already got the committee, so you just have one that you have to
One more
replace.
person to add. So, when you have somebody at large, somebody else out in the community.
So we can do that without a motion or anything? We can just do it
Yeah,
later?
you just,
Okay.
it's just, they just interview.
Right.
Just an interview, and then they come to us. With their recommendation. It's still up to the board.
Okay. And then item number 10 under treasurer appointment, I just wanted to give you some information and then you can make a decision, but we do have deposits in the office right now, so we have checks that we've received from the state and from Pavilion Rentals. I can estimate it's been probably between $10,000 and $15,000, so I have them on the treasurer's desk. I did contact the Towns Association to ask if it's something that, I'm opening mail, that's part of my job, so I hold checks. When I open mail, I'm holding checks. I don't accept cash or anything, but I asked if I could just simply take it to the bank. They recommended that I did not, and I also asked our attorney the same. So the attorney recommended that if you're not going to appoint a treasurer, that one of the board members is appointed to take the deposit to the bank, that it not just sit until a treasurer is hired or appointed. So I could make copies of what I have so that it can be recorded into the financial system, but that is the recommendation that I received.
Did you contact your person?
No.
When?
No.
So I did leave a voicemail for the second person that you gave me, or the one person you gave me, and I've not received a call back.
Okay.
So,
I will reach out this week on that.
She needs somebody now.
She does, and so,
We
with
do
saying
have-
that, should we appoint somebody so that we can
Aren't
take
you
checks
having a
to the
special
bank?
board meeting anyway?
The way has
What's
the,
Aren't you having a special board meeting anyway? To approve the stuff for the
we
planning
need it
commission?
now. She needs to get this money out of that office.
Then tell
And
Rob to
besides,
take it.
this was a holdover from last meeting.
so Heidi, do you have
I
any
don't know, but I
recommendations for a
did
board
with that
member?
sheet.
I guess if Bob would do it, or I mean, would you be up to making that deposits?
They are open on Saturdays. They are open on Saturdays.
They are?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, my schedule just makes it hard to do during business hours, that's the only challenge for me. I can do it on a Saturday.
They're open till 7,
PM?
Yeah, they have good hours, actually.
right by Festival.
Associated.
Yeah.
I thought it said 6 on the door.
Unless they changed it, it used to always be 7.
But I do know they're open on weekend. Saturday.
I don't think that it'll be even a every Saturday thing. I think if we catch up what we have now, usually we get in, most of the large dollar deposits come in via come in directly via EFT. So I think if you catch up what we have now, it might be like an every other week thing.
Are you willing?
Yeah, I can do it.
Do we have to make a motion on that?
Yes.
I make a motion that, Bob take what would be, temporary treasurer position to allow him to take the checks to the bank.
Just deposits.
Just deposits.
Okay.
Bob is gonna complain because he's gonna want that salary over his own.
We need a higher treasurer.
I second that motion.
I have a motion and a second to accept Bob to do the treasurer's deposits to the bank. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those against, say nay. Welcome aboard, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
I had a copy of the bid notice in your packets. Patty had put this together and I just updated the dates. This will run in the paper, this Wednesday, the 11th, and then again on the 18th. And then the board can open bids within 1 week of the last posting, so which would be the 25th. We've asked for all bids to be received by 5 p.m. So my question is, Carolyn, you mentioned there is a Board of Adjustment meeting on the 26th.
26th.
And there is a meeting that's going to be needed before the Board of Adjustment, so could you guys meet the evening of the 25th to open bids and do the Board of Adjustment stuff, or is that too late?
As far as for the Board of Adjustment, no, because I can
Take it on the 26th?
take it along.
Perfect. So that would just be a recommendation if that date worked,
The 25th.
after 5 p.m.
Did you? We're not going to.
26th is the meeting for the Board of Adjustments is on the 26th.
25th works for me. Anytime after 5.
What day of the week is that?
So Wednesday.
Meeting on the 25th.
Wednesday.
at 5,
Okay.
so we can open bids and award them.
I have a recycle board meeting at 6.
Okay. We still have enough there to do that.
Right.
If you can't make it, you can't make it.
Yeah, I don't think I'll-
Okay. No.
Do we want to do the 25th?
Yes.
Okay. I think I need a motion for that, right? Or, yeah.
Oh, hold on. So in the bid request, it says, bids will be publicly opened and read at the subsequent town board meetings between the dates of May 26th and May 30th.
Yep, and then it says the exact date and time will be published on the town website. So,
But it says between the 26th, and we're looking at the 25th.
mhm.
So can it be amended to say May 25th after 5 PM through the 30th?
I can contact the News Herald to the 18th, well, definitely, I'll try for the 11th.
Okay.
For the 18th, well, I'll actually just add the exact date and time to the 18th and possibly for the 11th.
Yeah, okay.
The other question I guess that I've got too is it appropriate for us to contact the normal people that normally bid on these? Okay. Because I know I've been receiving phone calls on them.
If people have called you and asked you, and you can let them know that bid notice has gone out, but I don't think it's appropriate for us to
Okay.
call
Okay,
people.
I just asked. So if they call me again, then I'll have the information. At that time, I did not have the information.
Well, if you know who called you, you can call them back.
Okay.
Yes, I think that's appropriate.
All right.
So is there a motion to schedule the board meeting?
I make a motion for a special board meeting on the 25th after 5 PM to open the bids for materials.
I'll second that.
Do we need the rest of the stuff worded in there, or can I just add it to the agenda as we?
I think we should just add open bids and, well, we'll have to put an agenda together so we can include the word adjustment, but
Yep.
can we decide on the time for the minutes?
6 o'clock.
So the motion that I have is, motion, by Tom John at 6 PM, May 25th at 6 PM to open the bids for materials and any other town business. Is that what you'd like for the motion to read?
Yeah. We can work everything else in.
Finish the motion.
I have a motion and a second on the floor for the whole meeting on April 25th at 6 PM for opening bids and any other town business. May, sorry. Good catch. I don't think April. Any further discussion? Since there is none, let's vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. Ayes have it. Meeting on the 25th of May at 6 o'clock. The next one moving into is kind of in your area, Tom. Did you have time to think about your description for the part-time highway employees?
I've thought about it, but I honestly haven't put anything down on paper. No, I have not. I did talk to Pat about it, and basically he's looking for somebody that he can call and they can run up there and work for a couple hours, help him run stuff, shovel something if he needs that. He's not looking for a full-time, part-time employee, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's just a very temporary, if he needs some running, if he needs some help lifting something. That's as far as I've gone with that. I have not written anything out. I'm happy to get something to her.
Do we have something by the 25th maybe, so that if we
Absolutely.
decide to post it, then we can post it?
Yep, I can do
And
that.
I'll discuss it, right?
Yep.
Motion to table it till the 25th.
Make a motion to table the part-time highway employee description until the 25th of May.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Since there is no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. tabled. Okay, Lori. Fire department grants.
You all have them in your packet, correct? Okay. So the first one is the AED grant request form. That one, I have requested 4 AEDs. 1 for the pavilion, 1 for the town hall, 1 for in Pat's dump truck, and 1 for over at the clerk's office. Reason being, in Pat's dump truck is because all fire department members are AED certified, and he's out and about. If we need him, we can call him, and he'll come. And in case he's out doing something on the road and he comes across somebody, he's got something to do if he needs to there.
You have 3 written in this.
I need 3.
You have,
You have 3.
would need 3.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought I had 4. My mistake. 3 of them, then
So
we'll go.
3 or 4?
I would prefer 4, I didn't realize I put 3 in there.
No, that's for the wall sign fast response kit.
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
what you're ordering?
The wall sign, I just wanted 3 of those, 1 for,
Just for the sign?
just for the signs, the pavilion
Okay.
here, okay, by the clerk saying this is where the AED is.
Yeah, okay.
But I did request 4 AEDs.
Up here, yeah, you have 4
Yep.
AEDs up here. Okay.
So if you guys approve that one, I will finish filling it out and submit it. And see what we can get there.
So this will give us what? How much they pay for this?
They pay for them completely. It is,
Free.
they are basically freelance. They will pay for them. I need to get them, they'll tell me when yay or nay. They'll work with me to get them ordered, and they'll work with me to get them fixed. As far as training town board and stuff, I said we did not need help with that because we have CPR instructors over at the fire department that have contact with Midstate or NTC, and we can get a course going through ourselves. So I didn't request any education help on that because I think we have that covered pretty well.
Lori, are these ones that pretty much tell you what to do?
Yes.
I mean, that you turn them on and they tell you what to do,
Yes.
put them, and,
Yep.
I mean, they're pretty
Very self-explanatory. They're just like the ones we have over at the fire station. You open the lid, you push the start button, and it will tell you, turning AED on, place
and
pads.
it'll detect a heartbeat and tell you not to do it?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. These AEDs, the only 2 heart rhythms that they detect are VTAC and VFib, if I remember correctly. But it will tell you, shock advised, shock not advised, continue CPR. It'll give you the whole thing, so there's really no thinking.
It's the ones like, I believe they're like festival and
Yeah,
places like
yep.
that, general access.
Yep, that's what those would be. Alliant Energy Grant, this one.
Do you want to do these individually, or do you want to go do them all together?
I guess if we do them individually, then if there's one that you guys want to kick out, you don't kick out all of them for one.
Right. I'll make a motion to okay the request for the AED, 4 AEDs. The grant.
We have a motion and a second to allow Lori to fill out and apply for the AED grant. Any further discussion?
Yes. Lori, you said that there was no cost for this? They just
No cost.
give them,
Yep, no cost on our part.
great, nice. How much do they normally cost?
They usually cost about $1,200 to $1,300 a piece. So we're getting a pretty good deal if we do that.
Yeah, that's it.
So those will be out and about if something happens at the pavilion, a bystander will have something to at least start doing something until we can get there.
Yeah.
The next one is the Alliant Energy Grant.
We got
We gotta vote on it.
Oh, I'm sorry, no,
I didn't hear who did the second.
me, sorry.
Any further discussion? Since there is none, let's vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. Approved. Okay, Laura, next one.
okay, the Alliant Energy Grant. This one, we are going to do CO monitors for our firefighters and EMS people. We have them on our jump bags right now, so if we go get a CO call and we go into the house or someone feeling ill, it will go off of their seal present, so we're just gonna add a few more to our thing. The reason I put this one in here is because if you look at the first page, everything on that first page has to come from the town clerk on township letterhead, signed by the town chair. That's why I put this one in here. It's not quite open yet, but it gave me enough to get what I needed for you guys. So there's a lot of stuff here that,
So I was trying to figure out, where does it say in here that this is for CO1?
we can choose the project we decide to do with it. And Alliant Energy has helped us out in the past with, donating money to our RAD 57 pulsars that we have. So, and they also have, Alliant Energy also has gas lines out there, apparently. I didn't know that, but apparently they do, according to us. So that's what I was going to do with these. But before we can do it, everything on this front page here has to come from the town clerk on town letterhead with the chair's signature saying we are part of the township and all of that. That's why that one's in there so early. Because
So
I brought it.
what are they giving us? Because it's, maybe I'm missing something.
It's up to $1,000, so they can give us up to $1,000 for a project.
So we're not actually getting the CO monitors?
No, you're getting money to go
From-
towards the project.
Okay, so where do we get the CO monitors then?
We got them from Five Alarm, I think, the last time we did it. Is that right? Where we got our last seal monitors?
There's a couple of places that we get them, so we would probably put out, get quotes, and go with the most reasonable quotes. Usually we put out like 3 of them.
Mhm.
So
So
this
usually
is, this
it's
is just a donation?
This is just asking donation money to go towards a project that we are working on.
So what's the total cost?
1,000 total to us. I haven't done anything with that yet because of this
So you
very
don't
front
know.
page here.
You have no idea what these
So
monitors
this,
cost?
but this grant here will be up to $1,000
Yes.
or $8,000?
Up to $1,000.
So you don't know how much they're gonna give us yet?
Mm-mm.
So once we get that, then we can figure out if it'd be enough to do a CO
Correct.
monitor or monitors.
They
But I do have to list a project in there to get the money. So the project that we had discussed at our fire department meeting and agreed upon was going for seal monitors for this one.
And what does the CO monitor run?
In the past, they've been like about $250 before things went crazy here with inflation, so.
So we're about 500 now.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we don't know.
Okay,
Okay.
so what we're asking, you're asking
What I'm
for is
asking for
approval
is
to
everything on
go
the front
to
page,
get it.
to start working on the front page here.
I make a
I mean,
motion then
she's gonna have
that,
work to do on this one.
I make a motion that we proceed with the application for the Alliant Energy grant.
I second that motion.
I have a motion and a second to proceed with the Alliant Energy grant. Any further discussion? Since there is none, let's vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against, say nay. Let's move forward with the Alliant Energy grant. Did you have another one for us, or is that it for now?
Yeah, the last one, it's called Front Door. What this is a secure platform to apply for grants, because I went on the Firehouse Subs website to check that out a little bit, and it says, do you have a front door account? And this would hold all of our account information, check information, a copy of our deposit slip. And when you start digging into grants and going into them, they'll ask you if you have a front door account, and if you guys approve the grants, I say yes, it imports all of this stuff to it, so there's not a lot to search. I don't have to bug Tanya every time I need, unless something changes. And there again, the clerk would have to help me, or the treasurer would have to help me, because I think I need a copy of a deposit slip and a canceled check, and that I need their help with also, because there's certain things that have to come from them. But if we don't, if this platform doesn't get used, there's a lot of grants we're not gonna be able to fill out, because this is how you get into those grants.
Does it cost anything to?
Nope, doesn't cost anything, you just create your account, and it's out there, and then you apply, if you apply for grants, since you have a back door, a front door account, if you say yes, put in your username and password, everything goes in, and you just gotta like do the narratives and stuff. So I guess I'm asking permission to fill out this part so we can be available for more grants.
What does developed with NPOs for NPOs mean?
Good question.
NPOs means you can't have anything to
Non-
eat
Oh,
or drink.
nonprofit organizations, correct.
Okay.
So when you look at it, the fire department is technically a nonprofit organization, so we do not charge for our services. And that's how they kind of classify this, is if you don't charge for services, you're a nonprofit.
So I'm just thinking out loud here, maybe this is something that the clerk should set up, and then if it's needed, then we have a front door, whatever you call this.
So you'd set the front door up for the township? Because some grants, if you can't
That's-
apply to as a township, you have to apply to them as a fire department. You see where it's kind of hairy and gray there?
But we're one and the same almost, I mean, we're fire department and the township.
It's however you guys want to do it. I mean, if you want the clerk set up, that's fine. I just need to bring it up to you guys so you know it's here.
Because I'm guessing we're gonna get a charity number, that
You have a charity number, it's already in there. That is your, the number I got from Patty.
Tax ID.
Charity or tax ID number, that's what they clarified
Right
it
here,
for.
that's my copy.
So that number is already in there,
What's your copy?
Yeah, but did you want to
because I
look
have,
at it?
I'm
or
trying
get
to
another
get
one?
further into this so I can get you more information on it.
So this is an organization that you have to go through if you're gonna apply for certain things.
For any cyber grant,
Sorry,
meaning any
company.
online grant,
Stay away from
online applications that you fill out. This is a secure platform to do that, so nobody steals your information. It is up to you guys.
Can you do, well, you can apply for those things anyway without it, right? No?
If you don't have, some of the grants, if you don't have a front door account, you cannot get into that grant.
I'll make a
Do you have any
motion
thoughts on this?
to approve.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're asking if I have any thoughts on it?
Yes.
I can tell you, there's so many grants out there right now because of the ARPA funding. And I personally don't see any problems with setting this account up and applying for as many grants as we're eligible for. I've never heard of a grant costing us money to apply, so I personally don't see any problem with it. I was gonna ask you, are you familiar with the FAP grant coming out from the state? The window is open for the month of May.
Which one is that?
It's one that they do every year, but the governor just increased it from 2 million to 10 million. It's for it's EMS.
That has, if I'm thinking of the same one you are, that goes through e-licensing through the state of Wisconsin, and the service director for the EMS group has to fill that out, if that's what I'm thinking.
Probably.
So, yeah, I do know about that one.
Then there is a flex grant that's coming out. I think there's $30 million worth of funding, but they're gonna open that window in June. So
I don't know about that one.
It's an EMS flex grant, and it covers training, it covers vehicles, it covers the snowmobiles, it covers a lot, so be on the lookout for that too.
Sure.
It's, should be on the DHS website.
Okay, I'll check out their website tomorrow.
I don't mind helping Lori set the account up or setting it up, whatever you guys need my assistance doing.
Well, I started to make it, I'll make a motion to approve the, open door.
Front door.
Front door. Okay.
I'll second that.
A motion is second to approve the filling out of the forms and stuff and applying for whatever you want to call this, for the front door.
who's gonna do it?
Who's gonna apply?
Yeah.
Set up the account, I think is what he's asking.
Yeah, I'm guessing between Lori and
saying that she'll need help with some of this stuff from either Tanya and or from the
Tanya said she's willing to help.
I can help, and yeah, I don't mind helping, and there's also a fire department clerk as well, so I can assist them with whatever they need.
Well, I'm just a little concerned about the access to the accounts for the township being on a website. You know, so we need to use a town secured computer to do that when we're doing it. You follow me? Because some people can hack. So we have to protect the interest of the town.
Sure, no, I was thinking through what you were, yeah, I think the website is probably secure. I don't know about what computers, I understand what you're saying about the computers though.
Yeah, because this has our tax ID on it. I don't.
Well, but
you know,
not just
but
that, they want your checking account number, they want a canceled check, you know.
Right, because that's
so-
also the way the funds get transferred to the correct
Yeah,
places.
I don't
But
mind.
that's true of all grants, pretty much, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't mind setting the account up if that's, and then giving you access.
I'm just voicing a concern out
No,
loud.
that's good.
Good. Okay, we have a motion, second, first and second.
And we're discussing, so.
So I've been looking, because I've never heard of this place, and I work in a nonprofit. But it looks like they work with the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Nebraska, the Walmart Foundation, other big name places, so it seems reasonable to me.
So they're names that are out there.
Yeah, some big players out there that are working with them, so. There's no cost to this? Okay.
Any further discussion? Since there is none, let's vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against, say nay. Let's move forward with that also. Tanya and Lori.
Thank you.
That ends unfinished business or old business. Moving on to new business. And as Nancy case will look at this.
We have
Oh, sorry.
I gave you the originals that would need to be signed if you
Okay.
decided to move forward.
Okay.
Can't take this much fun.
Is this the same amount as the old contract? Or-
That's what he said.
He said it was, that question was asked.
He said,
I'm just
he
verifying.
said the same, yeah.
I was just verifying.
I'm looking right now, but I heard him say that, but I'm looking right now
I'm
just.
surprised they didn't have a fuel surcharge on
I know, right?
30 cents a mile.
So his name is Clarence, is that right? Oh, it should be under Becker, right, under, oh, crazy, okay, here we go. So 11,000. $16,792 is what we paid for this last cycle.
Okay.
And we have $16,600 in the budget. Line 51,530.
Yes.
I make a motion that we renew the contract as it's submitted.
A second.
Okay, I have a motion, a second to renew the contract. Any further discussion?
Yeah, so when I was looking through the minutes, in September of 2017, we received bids of 18,500 and 20,500. So it seems like a very reasonable deal.
Can you?
It's on this list here, 16,600 on your budget things.
I'm just telling you what we paid the last two payments, so we were billed 11,000 up front, and the last bill was 5,792 cents, so I don't know what the last year's contract was.
No, I'm talking about the last time. It said in September 2017, we opened bids from 2 places that had, and those were the offers that they submitted.
I'm gonna guess that our assessor budget amount was based on last year's.
Is that what you mean?
Because the difference number is 0, the difference column in the budget. So that tells me we just used the same numbers last year.
So this is a one-year contract, okay?
One year.
Yes. June 31st of next year.
Yep.
Any further discussion? Since there is none? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. Ayes have it. We'll have to sign this when we get done.
Yeah.
Moving on to appointments. Tom, I'm going to be recommending that we leave you with highway. You've been doing such a wonderful job. John, I'm recommending that we do library and the newsletter with you, and also because it's become a task to be taken care of, that we need to take care of, that we've been trying to and have not been successful on, is the website.
Is there some, like onboarding for the library and newsletter? I'm not sure how to do either of those things.
The library, they have meetings in the morning. I believe that they're in the mornings. We just kind of keep track of where they're at, what they're doing. They have different projects that they do. They charge us a different rate. It's Marshfield Library is the one that we utilize.
Okay, I'll call them this week and try and set up a meeting with them. Take it from there.
They have their normal monthly meetings, I believe, also, so.
Okay.
And then buildings and grounds, Carolyn, if you're up for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then garbage and recycling, Bob. Moving on that.
Is the newsletter annually? Or
Bi-
biannual?
Do you need to confirm or vote on my?
No,
Okay.
no, we just assigned it, so.
Okay, yeah, that's a sign. Moving on to pavilion refunds, that'd be Mrs. Opitz. Or is that Tanya yours?
There was a request to return the pavilion refund, for Karen Reinflesh. Ms. Opitz, reviewed the pavilion and it was clean, so she's recommending that we refund the money. The deposit.
Do we normally do that every month, or I don't remember ever doing that in the past, having to, or is it because we don't have a treasurer right now, or?
What are you asking?
The pavilion refund, I didn't know that we.
It was under your checks that you approved.
Right.
Yeah,
Is
that's-
that something we clear out each month? Or?
That's what I'm asking.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was just
I mean,
wondering.
it's
if I went through the
easier to
checks.
keep on top of it.
Okay.
you know.
All right. Did I make a motion for that?
Mhm.
Make a motion, we refund Karen Reinflesh's deposit for pavilion rental.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to refund her money.
Don't you have it on your checklist already?
Yes.
You've
That's
already
why
got
I'm
it on
asking.
here. You already approved it.
Yeah,
That's
under
why-
the checks.
That's why I was
Yeah,
asking.
in the past, we've not voted on it separately, it was part of
No.
the checks.
Okay, that's what I was,
It's under the checks, and so it's been checked out, so,
okay.
Okay, so we don't need an agenda item for that then?
no.
Okay.
Do we need to notify that motion or?
I'm just, yeah, I,
Rescind it.
I rescind the motion.
Okay. Moving on to the Menards account.
I just put that on there as an agenda item because it was brought up to me, so that we needed to talk about the Menards account.
Basically, what we need to do is we need to, take a couple people off and put a couple people back on. So we just need to figure out who we wanna,
So, would you like for me to ask Menards for a list of who's on the account and bring that to the May 25th meeting? Or do you wanna go ahead and just add people today? I don't have a list of who's on the account.
Don't you know who's on there, on the,
to be honest with you, I don't have a list of it either in front of me, so, I mean, I can almost guess who's on it, but I can't say 100% who's on it.
Yeah, I think we need to get a summary from Menards listing who's listed and then rationalize who needs to be on it.
Okay. Is there an urgency to add anybody right now, or?
I
don't-
think, yeah, you can just make the new ones, and then when you take it in,
I think we can do that on the 25th with our other meeting. I don't think it needs to be rushed in for faster than that.
So, do you wanna make a motion to table it for the 25th?
Yes.
wow, it's gonna be a big meeting.
So I make a motion to table the Menards account for the meeting on the 25th with information from Menards on who's currently listed.
I can second.
We got a motion to table the Menards account until the 25th. Any further discussion? Since there is none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, nay. Table until the 25th. This is your time, 18th there.
Okay, so, I just wanted to open a dialogue or open a discussion about the clerk and treasurer computer. So there's just been some conversation for several years now about there being something secret in here and, I don't know, just problems with the computers. And so in the business of being transparent to everyone, I'm just recommending that maybe we start fresh. I think that there have been some computers purchased in the last couple of years, and so I think that I believe this is an older computer because it does run slow. I don't know when it was purchased, but I'm recommending that the town invest in a new computer for the clerk and the treasurer. It can be a minimal cost, it doesn't have to be an expensive computer, and that we get everything set up new, and that we archive all of our documents in one place, because right now the archives are in multiple places. Like, we've got meetings on this thing, and we've got meeting minutes on here, and everything is not all in one place. So archive everything, get a clean computer, hire new people, and kind of start fresh. So that's my recommendation. I don't have to have an approval tonight, but that would be my recommendation. I also, the next agenda item would recommend that we take the current financial software QuickBooks and that we archive it so we have all of the data, which there is a backup that has been set up, and that we start with a new QuickBooks version effective for 2022. So that's clean and fresh, and we move forward with that as well.
So, do we have computers purchased that are are not being used, that would work.
So that was board item, the agenda item number 21. I didn't want to bring that up now, but I'll answer your question. My understanding was that there were computers bought for all the board members. This would have been after I left. There are 2 computers sitting in the closet at the town hall. And then you found was there one over here?
There's one in here on top of the
So that would have been.
mailboxes, because I had asked Patty for one, and I think she might have left it there and I forgot about it.
Okay.
So I think it's in a box sitting in that office there.
Okay, so that would be 3.
And then I have one.
And so 4. So I don't know where the 5th one is. So we could take those and have a computer company make sure that they're clean, and we could use those. I'm not against using what we have. I just think we should start fresh. So, but there are 2, I do know that there were 2 computers sitting in there in the closet in the town hall. So I could take those to a computer store, have them clean them, and then kind of rebuild them with what's needed for the clerk and treasurer, which would be like either Microsoft 365 might be what I would recommend. So then the documents can be shared
And back up.
and backed up.
That's already on there, on those computers, and so is Norton,
On the new ones?
on the, yeah,
Okay.
yep.
So that would be my recommendation, is that we do that. So I can, if you want me to move forward with the 2 computers we have there, getting those set up.
Have you looked at those? Those are gonna be fine to use, I'm guessing?
I haven't looked at, I mean, I've seen them, but I've not opened them. I assume that they would be fine to use. I don't think it takes
They'll be
any.
decent.
Yeah, I think they're probably newer than this one.
Well, that's is that the clerks? That was bought in 2018.
Okay.
And it is slow. I don't know if it's because it has a lot of stuff on it, but it is.
It's loaded with crap. That's a lot of it.
So, but yeah, I can start with taking those 2 and having, taking them to the computer company to start working on getting all that cleaned and set up. And then I think our QuickBooks is up for renewal anyway, so it's not an extra cost to kind of like take what we have, archive it, save it, so we have it, and then just kind of start new. I think there's.
I'll make a motion, you take the 2 computers and get them set up how you need them.
Did you want a new one? Excuse me, for that one? Did you say?
No, we can use the ones that we have.
Okay.
Yes, I think they probably are newer.
Yeah, they are. I think we got them, what was it, in 20? Is when we
Early
got them.
20 for COVID.
And they've been used very little, so there shouldn't even be much of anything on them.
Did you guys load like Teams or web?
No, there was none of that put on there.
Because there had been talk about doing remote meetings because of COVID.
Well, we were trying to get the Wi-Fi hooked up in here, so
So you never got that far?
we didn't do that, no. So we got the cable down here, and then they cut the cable, so we got the new cable down here. So you need a router down here, which I believe there's one up there, isn't there, a brand new one?
Probably.
It should be in the box, and it should be a decent one. So if you possibly set a router up out here, you probably have it, so.
So you made the motion, I'll second it.
Bob, second.
Can you read that back to me? I have a motion and a second to,
Motion to take the 2 computers at the town hall and get these set up for the clerk and treasurer.
any further discussion?
Guess the only concern I have is if we're having issues with the email and the spam and all that other garbage, is that gonna cause issues with the computer? Because sometimes you can get bugs from that, but I guess if you get the antivirus on it, it should protect it.
Yeah, on the
That's
new
probably
computers.
slowing that one down.
Yes, on the new computers, I was probably gonna set them up with a new email. I'd like to do
.gov.
I would like to use that, I
You
just
need to
have
rip that Band-Aid off and get it done.
Yeah, I would like to just, I need to find that, and that's what I would like to use, but.
So they
this-
talked about that at the October Wisconsin Towns Association
Yes.
meeting.
In which
That
myself
was
and Patty,
coming.
we've got our account to set up. And I turned everything over to Patty, so I don't, it's just a matter of where it is in the office.
Oh.
Yeah, and I hopefully will have some time this week or next week to look for that, but.
Cause she had to log in and within so many hours I had to log back in, and so. It should all be there.
Okay.
Any further discussion on that one? Since there is none. All those in favor?
And then, yeah, okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Do you have an approximate cost of that, like ballpark?
For having a computer company clean the computers?
Yeah, because I've never taken a computer into a place to use it.
I would, I guess I wouldn't think it would be more than $200, if even that.
Okay.
I think it's usually an hourly rate, so, I need to see what, I think we have Microsoft 365, like Deb said, I think that I've seen
We
that.
bought
on
it
there.
from Northside Computers. The only thing you're gonna wanna watch on that is it is set up on all 5 computers, because you can have 5 accounts, so there could possibly be a chance of sharing things. So when you're saving it, you don't wanna, you want to be very careful. If you're saving things as a clerk or treasurer on those computers and using the same 365 that the other board members are using, because that will go right on their computer.
So you guys use Northside Computers, not PC Doctors, is that right?
No. Pick your spot.
Two different.
We went to Northside Computers and bought the computers and had them put 365 on,
Got it.
so. But otherwise, they've been to both places, so.
So there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion now? Since there is none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, say nay. Approved.
And then just one last thing on the financial software. It would be my recommendation as we're looking for a treasurer, that the financial software, which is QuickBooks, be set up with permissions for both the clerk and treasurer to share the financial software, but they have certain, permissions. And so then your reconciliation is done all electronically and not on paper. So I have most of, a lot of the townships are doing that now, whether it's with QuickBooks or whether it's with a more advanced software, so
Is that online or is that desktop version?
it could be both. I know online, I do that I'm in Cleveland, I did that, but I do know the desktop version, you would have to add more users, or add another user.
The problem with the online compared to the desktop is 5 years down the road, if you need something on the online version, you might have to pay for that subscription again.
Yeah,
Where if you have the desktop, you have that here.
Yeah, I think I'm planning on keeping the desktop at this point and just, being able to add a second user to that.
Because otherwise you're gonna be paying. You want somebody that wants to open records request a year later, you're paying for the subscription again, so.
So you want a motion to approve this
No,
financial
I-
software?
No, I don't need a motion, I just
Okay.
wanted to tell you, as you guys are interviewing for treasurers, that that would be my recommendation, is that we
Okay.
go to them using the financial software.
Was that in the, I don't remember, was that in the job posting that they should be using QuickBooks?
John, I don't think it was in either one of them, we could add it.
I think that if that's the program that we're gonna use, I think that would be,
I think that's actually a good idea, because the guy I talked to, when he found out it was QuickBooks, he said, for him to get up to speed, if he's gonna only be there for 2 months, he says, it didn't really make sense
Yeah.
with that system. He was not familiar with that system at all, so
You probably would.
that's a good idea.
Okay. one too, I wanted to, the next is the website, I wanted to bring up. Just to like ask the board to consider moving forward with the development of a website.
Well, isn't that part of that .gov? I think all the townships are supposed to go to the .gov websites.
I think that's the domain, but you still have to build it.
So, did we not do this back in November?
Yes, we did. But we've now got a new
Okay.
clerk, so she's just asking for direction, I believe.
So you started building it already back in November?
Well, not building it, the board had approved the building of it and moving to .gov and all of that stuff. As a board, we had approved that. It just, as far as anything got was the getting of the .gov.
Okay.
That was it.
So I built a clone of our current website. It's welcome to McMillan.com. It's built on WordPress. I can gift it to the town if the town chooses to use it.
Does that meet the qualifications? I don't believe so, John.
What qualifications?
The qualifications in order to be a government website.
Exactly, it's the government part of it.
Yeah,
That I believe we
What
have to have.
qualifications is it missing?
you'll have to look them up
Yeah.
because there's new qualifications that those websites have to meet before the end of the year of this year. So,
Okay, I believe that my
No.
website is compliant with, it's certainly more compliant with government stuff than our current website.
government is funny sometimes.
I agree.
And so, I'm not a website builder or designer or developer, but would it be as simple as taking the website that you've cloned or that you've built and then putting it onto the .gov platform?
Yes, so all we need is a website host. My current host is Namecheap. It cost me $36 per year. They've been reliable, I haven't had any outages. I remember that townofmcmillan.com was down for at least a couple of days earlier this year, I believe. So then, whoever the host is, me as the website supervisor, I guess, would be responsible for installing WordPress on the host and then uploading the website, whatever WordPress website. If, you know, like I said, if I can look, see what kind of website requirements there are for .gov, but I'm not aware of any. And if it meets the qualifications, then we can just upload that one. Like I said, I built that as a 100% a clone, so whatever information that was on the townofmcmillan.com website was on my website, and then I started putting more stuff on there, so I've got more minutes on there. I added a spot to put financial data, stuff like that. So I've got whatever's on the current Town of McMillan website and then more.
Isn't there a special requirement for elections this year, something with your websites? I don't know, I'm just asking. I thought I had heard something about what, WEC being involved somewhere along the line, so. And it had something to do with the new websites.
John, I think it would just be as simple as kind of looking at the new guidance for the .gov sites and.
Yeah, send me the information, I can look into doing that. Like I said, we would need to figure out, I don't know where the website is hosted now. So, you know.
It's Gold Rush in Auburndale.
Okay, so, there would be some, you know, I guess we could stay with them if they're reasonable. I don't know what they're charging. I asked.
Over here, it said something about $4,000 on the website.
Yeah, so I asked Tanya to break that out for me. So she sent me a breakdown. It was that $4,622.50 was $23.78 to Cellcom, $17.92 to Frontier Communications, and $52 to Gold Rush hosting.
1,700.
To Frontier Communications through 2021. All of 2021. The whole calendar year.
What are we paying Frontier for?
Phone,
And
which
then
you would need anyway.
Can I make a motion on this?
Yeah, but that should just be the website. That's not, that's just internet access.
Yeah, I think Frontier's internet access and phones.
Yeah,
Yes.
the account I think was internet and website was the expense account.
My recollection was the website was only like $200. Four.
It was around 4 something, I think, for the year. And then Patty had upped a little bit because of something with the email addresses. She was having issues with it then. And it was a slightly more cost, if I'm not mistaken. So it might have been $500-600, I don't remember.
So I kind of think that as far as websites are or email addresses are concerned, I don't like the email client that is at Namecheap. Maybe Gold Rush has a better email client. But if they're costing $400 a year to host and Namecheap is $40 a year, I think that Namecheap would be the better option. But you can, so if we have an Office 365 account, we can turn that into like a business account, so we can have domain emails and stuff. So you could have like town clerk at townofmcmillan.gov or whatever the new domain is, and then you can set up like supervisor email addresses and stuff, and then you would access them through portal.office.360 or outlook.office.360 or something like that. Outlook on the web browser. So like if you have a Outlook work email, it would be the same process. So
I think probably would be a good idea to get in touch with probably Wisconsin Towns Association and find out where this whole .gov
Exactly.
migration is at. And what are the official requirements for the .gov websites, because nobody really knows. And I know we get these Wisconsin Towns Association magazine booklets, and they talk about that stuff in there, but a lot of it's nebulous.
So I did request for logins for all of you from the Towns Association this week. So I've requested those, and then I was gonna order you those red Towns Association handbooks if you'd like to have one of those. I use it all the time, it's very helpful.
does that come free digitally with an online subscription? Or is it something that I can access digitally?
You can access all the information digitally if you'd like.
Okay. Yeah, then I'd rather just have it digitally.
That's fine.
Yeah, you can just look everything up online once you have an account with them.
Should I make a motion for this then, to follow up on this?
Yes.
So I'd like to make a motion, that Tanya and John can follow up on this website to see the .gov requirements that we need, and if John's website is able to transfer over.
Or what the requirements will be
Exactly.
to set it up.
Well, if that's the case, John would actually have to give that to the township or sell it. Then it's the town's.
He said he would donate it.
Right, it's no longer John's then.
Correct.
Yeah,
We just need to understand what the requirements are.
what we need, yeah.
If there has to be something added to it, then we just
Yeah.
add it to it to make it work.
There's gotta be your website shell, boom, 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 boom. You
Mhm.
check the boxes and okay.
I need a second.
Okay, I'll second. Oh, he did. He did.
Bob,
That's
now-
fine.
I have a motion, a second, now we can discuss it.
I think you're done.
What I just said.
We've done that, yes. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Did you get all that, Tanya?
Huh?
Did you get all that?
I'm just, on agenda there were 5 bought. I don't know if you guys know where the 5th one is, but, so.
Check with Kevin or Nicole, see if they have one.
I would guess Nicole would have been my first choice. I don't know if Kevin's a computer guy or not, but it's
He
worth a phone call.
I think he had one at one point,
Okay.
so.
Maybe worth a phone call to them.
Let's move back to our motion, so we don't get sidetracked too far.
Yep.
Since there's no further discussion on that, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. Move forward on that. That's it if we're done with the computers.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Any further discussion on that? Since there is none, we'll all vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. Ayes have it, we're adjourned. That's fine. I was wondering about the agendas when they're all. You sent it to my email. I don't think that's what I just. My name and address should be in the try to get each and every township website, except that page doesn't print. It's a 404 page, it's connected to the last 3 years. Publish the minutes, because they're not approved minutes, they're published minutes that are approved. I know John Borowski did that, because I talked to him Saturday.
So I tried to upload them like draft format so they were approved. I don't think they say approved on them, but I'm used to uploading minutes in draft format because they have to be posted within 5 days of the meeting. So, but they're not approved.
There's such a huge list.
I just noticed that it's just
Yeah, I mean, we can add to the top of them. My Heatherton Township, I usually put a draft at the top. They are supposed to be published within 5 days of the meeting. So that's why I was trying to get them out, but I can, yeah, I can pull them and.
I don't know, I just think you might want to stay into it. They don't say
Yeah, that's why I was saying that I can add draft to them, so, yeah.
But how did we get the agenda for this meeting? You gotta check on the council website and find the agenda for the states.
Added to the website.
It's not on there. There's a 404, there's a 404 notification on there, and I'm not the only person, it's not my. There are several people like Chad Cole, I think, and other people.
I felt like I came back to winter, yes, I felt that way.
You might want to check
I was cold those times.
that.
I would see a motel in Staying 20 years before that. Really? And it was on the west side of, when we see